It's time for yet another roguelite action title, folks. Today we are taking a quick look at Dragon is Dead from developer Team Suneat and publisher PM Studios. Does Dragon is Dead wear its armor proudly, or is this dragon all burnt out? Let's find out in our impressions of this early access release. But before that, why not dragging your feet on over to Patreon at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames. You can gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community, early ad-free shows, shoutouts at the end of every video we produce, and yes, even free games depending which tier you select. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. Also, be sure to say hello to Gamer Ghoulfriend every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central at twitch.tv/idreamofindiegames. She's streaming games just like Dragon is Dead for your viewing pleasure. Lastly, we want to hear from you. What's your favorite dragon-themed video game? We'll pin our favorite comment down below. Dragon is Dead follows a very familiar formula that offers no real surprises thus far. You play as a dragon slayer tasked with taking down the evil Guernian, leader of the dragons. That's about as much story as you'll get in early access, as Dragon is Dead features almost no meaningful lore, and all of the character dialogue currently feels like placeholder material. For a game that looks so epic and grandiose on the surface, it was pretty disappointing for the opening segments to feature a few lines of bland text and not much else. Early access or not, that's kinda lame. All of this is to say, the world building and story of this release have a long way to go. As for gameplay, in my brief time with Dragon is Dead, I was able to choose between two different characters, one that was more of a sword wielder, with the other having a more widespread, albeit slower attack that could stun enemies. There are no real tutorials implemented currently, so most of the learning will fall on the player. You'll begin trudging forward through forests and rain, slashing away at enemies and dashing out of harm's way at the right moment. Combat feels fairly responsive so far, and the platforming has also been well implemented. While you start with just the dash and standard attack, expect to pick up new abilities as you level up and discover equipment and treasure. Movement is performed with the joystick, which isn't always ideal in a 2D action game, but I was able to adjust to this with relative ease. Healing is attached to the D-pad, and all told, the game doesn't feel half bad mechanically. As you take down foes, you'll gain skill points, which can be assigned at your choosing, with many of them adding cool elements to your weapons, such as fire and lightning. Again, there are no real surprises here, nothing you haven't seen in hundreds of other roguelite action games at this point. So then it will also come as no surprise that death means you'll lose everything. That's right, say goodbye to your gained levels, XP, gold, items, and artifacts. Though strangely, sometimes my items stayed? Pretty sure that was a glitch. I found the menus of this game rather clunky and unresponsive so far. Some of the buttons on my controller didn't even work at all, like when I attempted to cycle between skills and character statistics. This meant having to get off my ass and use the mouse. Sure, I could use the exercise, but you get the point. You'll earn plenty of gold off of enemies and come across many small rest areas as you progress forward. Here you can perform such actions as upgrading weapons at a blacksmith, purchasing potions, and occasionally you'll come across two chests that offer perks, though you may only pick one of them. Unfortunately, everything in this current build feels like it has been done before in other games, and much better. And what happens when you finally trudge your way to a boss after having to clear every screen's enemies? Well, you guessed it. A ridiculous difficulty spike that crushes your spirits. At least visually, Dragon is Dead is looking quite nice. The animations are well done with some lovely pixel art, though the environments, like much of the game, feel a bit familiar and tired. Even still, enemy designs are impressive, and it's obvious a great deal of love has gone into the visuals. I did find the on-screen UI a bit intrusive. Between a map on the right side of the screen and a massive bar at the bottom that shows your health and your weapons and the buttons that are attached to your skills, I found myself distracted from the action at times. The sound design, though, is coming along quite nicely, with moody strings that set the tone perfectly. The sound of swords slashing into flesh is satisfying, as is opening a chest to reveal new treasures. Considering the game is early, it's looking and sounding impressive overall. I didn't come across too many performance issues either, with the game maintaining 60 FPS on both PC and Steam Deck. The Steam Deck version looks very sharp, honestly. So yeah, there's bumps in the road as you would expect in early access with Dragon is Dead, and it's a bit hard to recommend currently, but it does show some potential and promise. The The developer has a full roadmap planned out, and of course the project will continue to improve throughout the early access period. But as for right now, you'll be buying into the idea of a game potentially improving, and in all honesty, you have better options. It is worth keeping an eye on this one though, and we look forward to returning for a full review in the future.